Reverse game breaks, no get you know it up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, slides, through the game, tap, this win it. First you again, here for the first minute. Carry like you never 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city, great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. The old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Just go win them all, man. I say that. Our team goal in general just win the East. So we're focused on that. But we're taking it week by week, one opponent at a time, and just being the best each week, each Saturday, being the best team on the field.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, joined by my good friends, Coach J, Matt Begley, Captain D. We're going to talk about this win. Holy smokes, what a win. Just win, baby. Just win. And look, understand, we got a lot of stuff to get into, to criticize, but we also got a lot to celebrate, and we're going to talk about it. But let me say this. Who's got the best damn defensive line in the country? Who called it all week long? Who called it all week long? We're going to go run the football down their throat, and there was no doubt about it. Who's got the best defensive line? Look how dang red my face is. Man, I'm so excited to get your thoughts, to get the chat's thoughts, to have a great conversation about Tennessee football. We already got 500 people watching live, guys. Be patient with us. We're going to get all your super chats. We're going to talk Tennessee football right out of the gate. Smash the thumbs up. Help us out. Share this out. Put it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace. Write a letter to your neighbor. It will be there before we go off air. I promise you. It's going to be a fun night. But let's kick it off. Coach Jay, opening thoughts on this win over Texas A&M. A big one, baby. Go 1-0 every week.
Take it easy on us. Yeah, it was a huge game. And I'm just going to say this. I am so damn proud of this defense, like tears in the eyes, proud of this defense. At the end, when I was, just asking for a pick, I got two. When I was asking for pressure, I got pressure. When I asked them to flatten out and watch the screen. When I wanted Tim Banks to change up the scheme and get a little more multiple in his disguises to bring pressure at halftime, Tim Banks answered that call. He saw the same thing. Absolutely beautiful stuff right there. And hats off to Neyland as well. In a game where they need to show up and show out, Neyland stood proud. Let me tell you, it would have been really easy for a crowd to get super uneasy during a game like that, or to turn on Heupel in a game like that. And they just kept on bringing the noise and bringing energy to this. We'll get into Joe Milton. We'll get into all that, guys. But I don't want to take anything away from this defense to Coach Banks, and maybe I'll throw in D. Williams there. But with that said, guys, I'll let you take it for a minute.
How about, man, who thought we would be sitting here in year 3 of the Josh Heupel era? Matt, Tennessee would be 5-1, and we would have things to complain about. It's a beautiful thing, but what were your thoughts on tonight's game? Just give us a brief summary, and then we're going to kind of pick it apart topic by topic.
I mean, just the energy that crowd created all game long, and adversity, right? No matter what we did, we shot ourselves in the foot so many different times. And in years past, we lose that football game. And as Tennessee fans, we know that. Mm-hmm. But the answers of the defense coming back time after time after time after time, and even sometimes shooting themselves in the foot with the face mask or whatever it was, and then come back again and again and again. You said it earlier, we have the best damn defensive line in the country, and it's not even close.
Nope.
And, you get chills watching that football game because you realize the offense was struggling. We knew they were going to struggle a little bit, and they struggled more than we wanted them to. And we won a game for the first time in Josh Heupel's history without scoring 30 points. And, I mean, it was a great, great effort. We'll get into it just like Coach Jay said, but what we talked about in pregame, Boogie, it came to fruition. Our defensive line whooped their butt, and we ran the football. Yeah. And those two things kept us in the game and ultimately got you a dub.
Dustin, opening thoughts, buddy.
Yeah, right there with you. I had special teams, defense, and the run game was my 3 takeaway positives for sure. Obviously, the environment was huge. We need that. I said on the previous live show that we got to take advantage of these home games. We haven't played great on the road, so we really got to capitalize when these things come our way. And, yeah, overall, I like the effort on both sides of the ball. Just no quit. Wasn't pretty at times, and like you said, we'll get into those things. It's hard as a Tennessee guy, it's hard to keep it on the positive side even when you get a win. But how many years were we on the other side of this talking about woulda, coulda, shouldas, and now it's so great to be on the other side of that for the most part.
It's like we've talked about all week. Just go 1-0. And it's so dumb. It's such coach speak. But the bottom line is Tennessee is in control of their own destiny. You go win a sloppy game against Texas A&M, and we'll keep waiting. We'll keep holding out hope. We'll keep praying to Jesus above that Joe Milton's going to figure it out. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe we just keep living on this run game and defense and find a way to win another one on the road next week. We got 737 people watching. Guys, smash the thumbs up. We're going to see what you guys have to say right now. Got a lot of Super Chats coming in. We appreciate that. Donovan for 2. This is for James Pierce. I will put it in the mail for him right now because that man deserves a paycheck. Me Ugly for $2. Damn defense did. Appreciate that Super Chat. Donovan for another 2. This is for Tyler Barron. Going to send that in to the mail to him in the mail right now as well. Dylan for 5. Thank God for defense and D. Williams. All votes for a wing T offense the rest of the season. Say I don't care what they do. Just win, baby. Just win. Corey Smith for 5. Great defense, special teams, great run game. Imagine if we had a quarterback that can make throws. Love Joe. It's Nico time. Don't worry. We're going to talk all about the quarterback position. I promise you that. Donovan with another 5. This is for the O-line and the D-line. I guess we ain't played nobody. That's going to be the conversation this week. It's going to be that Texas A&M is not very good. They've lost 3 games. Just get ready for it, boys. Get ready for it. Culberson for 2. James Pierce for Heisman is all I got to say. Man, and we're going to talk about it all night, but how we're seeing the impact of a legitimate dude coming off the edge, and we got a whole bunch of them. It ain't just James Pierce. He's great. We got a bunch of them. Papa J for 5. Not sure I've ever seen more penalty yards than passing yards. GBO, though. I put that stat out on Twitter at halftime. It's an ugly stat. I understand, but we still found a way to get the dub. VFL Willie for 2, D-Line U, Nico Time, GBFO, Pit Boss for 5, Dorothy. How about them special teams? I knew it was going to happen. Had the wrong score, though. J-Vol for 2. Here's my weekly super chat to say we need a quarterback. Endure becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that support, guys. If you want to support what we are building here, give me the opportunity to do the morning shows, to stream 6 days a week, create content every day. Hit the join button down below, whether it's $1, $10, whatever you want to give. Every donation is appreciated. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, access to the fan call-in shows. Look, I'm doing a post-game show with almost 1,000 people watching, and my 3 co-hosts all came up through the fan call-in show. That's what this community is all about. You have the opportunity to do that by becoming a member. Nate Pruitt for 5, cover charge Boogie. First off, I'd like to that Texas A&M for keeping us in the game. Like to give thanks to them, I guess. Glad we won, but not with the performance of our offense. MG Way for 10, great job with an elite game by the defense and another amazing performance by Jalen Wright. Tired of seeing the excuses for Joe Milton. Not even close to being the guy. Guys, we're seeing a theme. We're going to come back to it. UT Punkin member for 25 months, over 2 years. Go Vols. So thankful for the D. This game really showed up. Our offense and play calling is huge. What the hell are we doing? Rod for $20. That's an orange boy. We'll play the clip. I'm going to play it all night long. You guys might as well get used to it. Some people hate it. Some people love it. We'll play it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Rod says, great win, great D, but we got to work in the web position, but great win, gutted it out. GBO, who's D-line? It's our D-line, best D-line in the country. Tyler Adams, been a member for 16 months. William Dyer drops an orange boy. I'll do it again.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
William says, thank God for the defense and running backs. 2 huge missed PIs, and Keaton is awful. It looks to me like it isn't as much Joe as it is lack of any elite receivers. It's both. It is both. That's the problem. We're going to talk about it. Alex Gibson for 5. Hype post game. That damn defense. Thank God they showed up, baby. Let's go. I love seeing Hype getting fired up. He said it. He said we're going to play elite defense at Tennessee. We're starting to see it. Endure for 10. Beautiful victory. Kamal Haddon, good interception. Big Orange Mountain for 5. I'm so exhausted. GBO. Look at mine and Matt's face. This tells the story right here. I don't know what you guys must be drinking.
Red as can be.
Y'all must be drinking some water, staying well hydrated. Me and Matt on the verge of a heart attack. White Lightning for 2. At least we beat the spread. Robbie S for 20. That's an orange boy. We'll do it again.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Robbie says, I called it. 13-20 UT. GBO, way to go defense. Trent Johnson becomes a member of the channel. Will Jones drops the 50 spot. We'll play a different clip for this one. It's about time we got to see the $1 Million Man.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Will Jones with a 50 spot says, it's great to be a Tennessee ball GBO. Appreciate that very, very generous super chat. Guys, don't go anywhere. I'm going to continue to hit all of your super chats. Don't you worry. Appreciate all the support. But we want to kind of balance the conversation. Get your opinions, our opinions, and we'll keep this thing flowing. Should we start with the quarterback play, or do y'all want to wait?
I got 1 point. real quick.
Yeah,
okay, good, because I would rather wait. Let's go with Dustin's point.
Me too.
Let's go with Dustin's point.
I think our laundry list of negatives outweighs the positives, typical Tennessee fans, but here we go. I had that it was really more about us on both sides of the ball than it was them disrupting things or us not functioning properly. I think the penalties, all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm trying to keep this positive. But in general, I think we kind of controlled the game. Yes, we were down in a lot of the first quarter, but there was never any of that mega doubt that we've gotten so used to over the years. And how fitting was it that our defense had a ball out day on Eric Berry Day?
Yeah, amen to that. I agree, and I think the theme I got from that whole game, minus the things we'll talk about for sure, but is that we just need to find a way not to lose this football game. And it was big play, shoot yourself. Big play, shoot yourself. It was back and forth. But I saw you even put it on Twitter. About some of the penalties and some of the things we dealt with. And then, we even looked like the 21 defense at times in the secondary with 3rd and 17 and 3rd and 15 and 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 11. And Max Johnson is falling down. And we get a face mask on it was that repetitive, just shoot yourself in the foot thing that I was just looking for us not to find a way to lose. But ironically, on the last drive when you're up 7, I had every bit of confidence in the world that defensive front was not going to let them do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Talked about it. You guys have talked about it. What that defensive line does, and it ended up in 2 picks to seal the game. So,
look, when you're coming on here to do a post game show and you're taking notes and you're trying to formulate where's this post game show going to go, the storyline is what you guys are talking about, Dustin and Matt. It's missed opportunities, right? And even idiot Gary Danielson was laying out the story for you. And it was the second drive of the game. You go 10 plays, 57 yards. You got a 4th and 2. Joe Milton rolls out, and what are you doing? What are you doing? And like, I know I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that Joe Milton insult for later. Don't you worry. 4th drive, you go 9 plays for 42 yards. Again, you're stacking up some yardage, and then Charles Campbell missed a field goal. And I get it. It's a 51-yard field goal. That's a missed opportunity. 5th drive, right before the half, you're moving the ball. Jalen Wright has like back-to-back 15-yard runs, and then what happens? Ollie Lane, holding call, and then the drive stalls out. And then the drive that really stood out to me, Matt's what you're talking about. You basically have a sack. They're looking at 3rd and 20-something from their own 2 or 3 yard line, and just a face mask. And then I'm pretty sure they followed that up with a penalty too. So many missed opportunities, but Coach, all that matters is getting that W, and we got the W. We're 1-0 this week.
That's it. It doesn't. What's the hypo quote, right? It doesn't always got to be pretty. It ain't gonna be. Just keep your head on straight, right? And that's the main thing on a football field. Don't eat each other during a game. And I kind of alluded to it in that Colorado game last night. When things stopped going their way, or when they'd make a mistake, they'd start eating themselves a little. Tennessee didn't do that at any point, right? They bit down and they fought back from their mistakes. They showed a ton of resiliency, and it seemed like every little break, every little bounce of the ball didn't go our way, whether it was a penalty or a face mask or barely getting a pass off or whatever you want to call it. I thought there was a little bit of serendipity at the end of the game on that tip ball that McCastle's got. I believe it was McCastle's, and kept going. So that was, we kind of needed that one. Absolutely. I thought there were moments in this game, going back to Ollie Lane really quick, where Ollie Lane didn't look like an SEC offensive lineman. I think there's been moments where he hasn't, but then there's these little spots of sunshine for him. I thought Nimrod was great. I kind of alluded to I don't know if it was on the stream or before it, Boogie, but I thought, we said at some point that we thought Heupel came out there and told everyone, hey, whoever earns it in practice is going to get it. And I'd like to pretend at least that's what happened, and that Nimrod really went out there and earned it, because the kid played well. We had a lot of drop balls again, and I know some of them were behind him. I know the Ramel ball was behind him both times, but especially the wide open one, he's got to catch that. It's almost like he's like Stone Hands from that movie Necessary Roughness. Like the harder the catch is, the more Ramel will catch it sometimes, but the simple ones he can tend to miss.
Isn't it maddening though? Like Joe, I was ready to pull my hair out, what little hair I got left, because I was so mad at Joe. And then he puts perfect touch on the ball. Ramel Keaton's wide open, and it's like they're just not helping each other.
No. And I thought Squirrel looked good early in the game, but I thought they did okay putting a lid on him. But listen, guys, they at times they were down to their 3rd string DBs in there. This was not a good secondary we played today. As much has been made about their front 7 and their D line and all that stuff. This is a bad secondary that's given up a lot of big plays, and it speaks to the problem that we'll get into whenever we kind of say go on that part of the conversation, I suppose.
Let me hit some more super chats real quick. Robert McGee drops a 20 spot. We'll keep playing the clip. We love those Orange Boys. Orange Boys are Tennessee Vols colors. I'm trying to string this out because I can't find it, but there it is. We'll play it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Robert says, UT wins, Florida wins, if only we work the way we did to pull a dub.
Yeah, I will say this, Boogie, really quick. Sorry if you got more to go, but we did kind of we kind of did call we did show Butch Jones to be a liar, because we did lose the game before we won the game. So just saying. With that said, proceed.
They gave a good 63 effort. They gave a good 63
there you
effort.
There you go.
That's all you're looking for here.
Yeah,
Alan Mole drops a $2 super sticker. Appreciate that, brother. Dylan for 5 when they played Spooky Rocky Top on that last drive as the defense was rocking. Chills. You can hear it on the TV, too. I love that. Being able to hear it on TV. Jared Burton for 2. I was just here to watch Boogie be mad. Just kidding. Well, we're not mad here, brother. We're happy. We're celebrating. Benjamin Kite for 5. This is the kind of game a couple of years ago we would have lost last second in embarrassing fashion. Go defense, GBO. Dustin touched on that earlier, and I think it bleeds from the top, right? Josh Heupel's a winner. He is a winner, and his confidence, just the way he presents himself, it feeds into this football team. Going back to last year, the Alabama game, right? The scoop and score. Like, even when they would score, Heupel's like, all right, he's just ready to go. He's not – it starts at the top. He's an excellent leader. Wade Rouse for 10, hell of a game. The defense wins a game for hype. How many times has that offense had to win it for the defense? Good point. Milton needs to do a lot better quickly. Love the fight for this team. Let's go beat Bama. Let's do it. Want to know every week. Tomcat becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, brother. Okay, Jackson for 5. The DB's made Eric very proud today. Defense will be the cover we need when we have offensive letdowns. GBO. Trey drops a 50 spot. I like the Pink Boys, too. I won't lie. We'll play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Trey drops a 50 spot and says, membership drive success, I hope. Beat A&M, epic 16 revenge, 3-2 all-time. Credit Neyland, defense Everett, and the three-headed monster. So happy we made Gary Danielson eat crow. People were upset about that tonight at the game. I love it. Trey, man, he printed out shirts and went to Neyland today and just rep Talkin VAWLS. He was out there recruiting people, talking. I love it. We appreciate it. Thank you, Trey, for sending me $50 after you worked for me all day. You're the man. Appreciate that, brother. Brumdog Millionaire gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. I appreciate that. Noah James for 5. Lost my voice. GBO. D is a freaking beast. They couldn't catch him. Shane C. also drops a 50 spot. Look, I'll play that clip again, too.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Shane for $50, very generous. This is for the D and for D. We made some money for the recruiting tonight. Go Nico. I see a theme here. Wait. I didn't put up my Joe Milton dartboard yet. I need to put that up back there. Thank you, Shane. Very generous, brother. Trey for 5. Can't wait for Nico. I'm glad Joe was mobile some tonight. We're going to talk about that. Kind of a tale of two halves. William Brandon for 3. Super sticker. Appreciate that. Angry Titan for 2. Another pass interference was just missed. Well, I'm going to assume, Angry Titan, that there's a holding call coming up next. So stay tuned for that. Corey Smith for 2. Did I mention it's Nico time? Joel's been a member for 2 years. This time 3 years ago, we were horrid all around. Look how far we've come. Yeah, we got to soak this in. Like I said, 5-1, and we got a lot to complain about. We're in a good spot. Scott Bennett drops a 20 spot. That is an orange boy. We'll play this clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Scott says cover charge and the clip. We won, but had to play A&M and the refs. Horrible called game. But that D, though. Yeah, refs were really bad today. Really bad. Pie Man for 5. How can Keaton catch a diving catch but not the easiest touchdown? Vols fan for live for 5. Joe does not have a great wide receiver core. They got to get open. Keaton dropped a touchdown. Agree with that. Got to be better across the board. DJ becomes a member of the channel. Shout out for that support, man. Appreciate that. Trey for 10. Jalen Wright is a beast. Castle's big tonight. Dylan Elam for 5. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Nicholas Ia Maliava. There's a theme here, boys. Negaball for 5. Give D that game ball. Big win for the men in orange. Great teams find a way to win. Sloppy ones, Buck Fama, Buck Gary Danielson. Coach Rice drops an orange boy. You know what to do.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Defense and special teams won the game. Poor game offensive showing after a bye week. Disappointed in the game plan. I know most of it is Joe Milton and receivers. Damn, that was an ugly win, but a win is a win. Go big, orange, Buck Fama now. Yeah, it's Buck Fama week officially starting right now. VFL Logan drops a 20 spot. That's orange, so.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Logan says, Joe ain't it, and neither is the play calling. But you know what is, boys? Them GBFOing running backs and defense. So impressed. We still got a lot of super chats. We're going to continue to get to them. Let me hit this one from Craig Torbett for $50. That ain't cheap. We'll play a different clip. This is just for you, Craig.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
You guys are being very generous. Appreciate all the super chats, but I want to take some time and talk about this because it's been the ongoing theme, right? Everybody in the chat's talking about it. Joe Milton and the game plan. And Coach, you said it right before we went live. You said Tennessee won in spite of Joe Milton. Joe Milton did nothing to help this football team. Finished today 11 of 22, 100 yards, a touchdown, a really terrible interception, again thrown to the middle of the field, right into coverage, in the end zone, right? You're looking to try to pull away, and again, going back to the narrative that Dustin and Matt talked about, you shoot yourselves in the foot once again. Joe Milton is not playing good football. He's not. And Tennessee still found a way to go out there and win. And we can you guys, I tell you all the time, you give me your opinions. Is it time for Nico? Is it not time for Nico? What are your thoughts on Joe Milton? Because I think when you said we won in spite of Joe, the play calling, if anybody's complaining about the play calling, it's because they are scared of the way that Joe Milton's playing. That they are trying to protect Joe Milton. I was texting JP in the game during the game, and I said they are terrified of Joe. They're afraid he's going to cost them a game, so they're calling this in spite of it's no trust. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, listen. It's well known on this channel. I've been asking for Nico for a little while now, so I'll just keep going back to it. Joe's slow. He's slow on his decisions. I thought he was slow tonight, whether that be pre-snap and the play clock getting down to 2 seconds, 1 second, or whether it was with the ball in his hand, slow on the read, or whether it was on a ill-advised maybe play call by Halsey there when he should have been running the ball at the end of the game, and he ran that little play action, quick pass. And I thought there was PI on it, but it didn't really matter when you wait that long to throw that football on that quick little whip out. That you're going to give the defender time to catch up to it. That ball has to come out the second that wide receiver whips his ear around. That ball's got to be out on its way. That's a tight pocket, right? That's an extremely tight pocket. If you look at the pick, whether it be the double coverage pick against South Carolina or the double coverage pick tonight, that ball had to be out 5 seconds earlier before help could come over in the coverage. I realize it's high school ball, but go watch Nico's high school tape. He fits in those throws all day on Friday and twice on the Saturday games. He just does. He's got that in his bag. I don't know what the deal is with the loyalty to Joe, but I definitely think it's a loyalty and culture thing going on, not a talent thing, not a trust thing, not in anything but that thing. I'm kind of convinced myself up to it. I don't understand it. I'll defer to Heupel. I said it in the chat earlier. I thought Heupel didn't have his best game today, but I think Heupel is a very self-aware and a great coach. I wouldn't call for his head for a second. I'm 100% behind him. I just think, sometimes it's not our day, and it wasn't his day, but I think he's a great coach. I think we got a keeper, and I think he'll be in Knoxville for a long time, with all that said. But Joe's the problem. And with that said, I won't pick on him too much beyond that.
I'm going to pick on him big time after we hear Matt and Dustin. Matt, what are your thoughts on just Joe?
Coach Jay, you're right. I mean, his indecisiveness and I think even trust in his own ability.
Yep.
The dude has every characteristic. If you're creating a Madden quarterback, right, Joe is him except right here. And that's what I see. Mm-hmm. I see an indecisive quarterback who doesn't trust his own abilities to go make a play, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's the rollout where he doesn't know whether to throw or to run, and he doesn't run hard. We saw it again tonight. I think this is the third time this season, a free play and run out of bounds. Mm-hmm. Don't throw the football. Don't even get the first down. Step out of bounds 1.5 yards early. But then you see Joe separate the best linebacker on the team's shoulder by running his ass over. And then you see him run again and run over a defensive back and then come and misread the coverage. Mm-hmm. The bits and pieces that he has are super exciting when you see them, but it's so inept when you don't. Yeah. And I think that's the piece that really befuddles Heupel in his game plan is what do you do? I mean, what can you do as a play caller when there's 9 in the box? In the last drive, there were 10 in the box. Mm-hmm. And you can't run the football against 10 in the box. And you're trying to, how do you get somebody to trust themselves? I don't know how you do that as an individual or as a leader. You can't force someone to trust their own selves, and you saw that tonight. You saw. I mean, but I give Heupel and the play callers credit on both of the field goals to seal that win. On 3rd and 18, we cut that to 3rd and 4 and got chip shot field goals.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, those were two huge, big runs to make those field goals easy. But it's a problem, and I don't know when you fix it, but we all know that they're not going to throw Nico in on the road at Alabama.
No. Nico's not coming in, period. Unless you lose to Alabama, you lose to Kentucky, I still think you got to lose another one.
Mm-hmm.
Before Dustin goes real quick, I just want to say, if Mincy's hurt, does anyone know what's wrong with him yet?
Did they say leg? Is that what they said?
They said leg, but I saw the play that he went out on was kind of after the play and an elbow or a knee, like to either the back of the leg or even like the hip area somewhere. And he stayed down. He got off the field, but it was an after the play, big guy landing on him.
Yeah, so that makes me nervous against Bama with Dane Davis out there at tackle.
Dane Davis and Ollie Lane, 2 walk-ons.
Yeah, Andres Carrick out today. That's why Ollie Lane's out there at guard. Dustin, what are your thoughts on Joe, just in general, and the confidence, play calling, all of it?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I am a glass half full kind of guy. I've been waiting to see a consistent performance, and we just have not. I mean, I don't care what game it is. There's been something multiple times in the game, and it's not just decision making, reading coverages. It's decision making when the play breaks down. That's what gets me. Is that like Matt said, you see one play where it's like he runs over somebody, and then there's 5 plays where it looks like the left or the right side is completely open, and you still hand it off into a crowd of crashing defensive linemen. I don't know what the reasoning is, but it's almost like 90% of the time on a read options, it's going to be handed off to the running back. And obviously the running game was solid today across the board, but I think there's so many opportunities there where he's just giving it and seeing what happens. And then it shoots us in the foot. And, like I said, I'm a glass half full guy, but I'm going to say there's some dumbness going on. Seriously. I hate throwing the guy under the bus like that, but there's just too many things going on to where it's just like you said, head scratching moments. The free plays. I mean, every high school, grade school quarterback in the country knows to throw the ball up, and he's done that 2 weeks in a row where he's just tried to make something happen. And then even when you try to get to the edge, you slip and fall, or you jog to the sideline instead of lowering your head like you did on the other plays. And that in combination with some of the conservative play calling, maybe that goes hand in hand as the game went on. But there's just too many times when we get behind the chains and it's 1st and 15, 2nd 15, 2nd and 20. They're going to try to hand the ball off the 1st or 2nd down instead of trying to do some pass plays. And so, it's getting to the point where I'm not saying that Nico is going to be the savior and come right in and fix everything. But at the same time, it's scary that this far along, we're still shooting ourselves in the foot with a quarterback that is indecisive.
It sounds like we should be talking about a freshman. That's the conversation we have is our freshman quarterbacks, not 24-year-old, 6-year quarterbacks that have been in the system for 3 years. Yeah. And that's what's so frustrating.
Yeah. And even Gary Danielson said it on the pick. Yep. He's like, that's a sophomore mistake, not a 6-year senior.
Yeah, and then the receivers weren't helping him out too much. There wasn't a lot of separation. We definitely missed Brew on some of those out passes today. They didn't throw nearly as many of those as we've seen in the past when Brew was in the game. I think that was pretty obvious. And then, of course, those 3 non-calls on pass interference. I almost want to go back to the game plan where we're overthrowing people, because at least then we're hitting 1 or 2 a game, and now it's almost solely on the run game.
Yeah, they took a few shots downfield. It wasn't there. It's interesting, Dustin, that you brought up the quick wide receiver screens, because they threw one early, and I was like, I'm tracking these tonight, because the chat's always going nuts saying we do too many of those. So I was like, I'm going to track them. We had 2 through about 2.5 quarters, and I was like, I'm done tracking this. Like, they just weren't doing it, and that's a good point. I think it's because Brew wasn't out there to block. For me, the thing with Joe, I can forgive my poor wife. I go upstairs to get a refill in the middle of the game, and she's like, how's it going? And I just start screaming about Joe Milton. I can forgive. I can forgive mistakes. I can forgive an overthrow. I can forgive a bad read, right? You're trying to make a play. You're doing the best you can. I cannot forgive a lack of effort. And we go back to even situational awareness. That was a ginormous red flag for me at the end of fall camp when Josh Heupel said that with the media. And everybody's like, Boogie, calm down. It's fall camp. I'm like, no, there's a 6-year senior that's leading this football team, and we're coming out of fall camp talking about situational awareness. That's a problem. And then Dustin's talking about, hey, you got a free play. Throw the ball downfield. And I was like, chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. He doesn't throw it. I'm like, okay, he's got an easy first down. And what does he do? He trots out of bounds a yard short. And then it was the same thing on 4th and 2. He rolls out, he holds it, and then he throws it out of bounds. And what are you doing? It's 4th and 2. Try to run over somebody. And then it adds fuel to the fire when later in the game he starts running the ball pretty good, and he starts lowering his shoulder and taunting people. How about you do that when you need a yard to gain? How about you do that on 4th and 2? I cannot stand that. It's a lack of effort. It's like he's scared to get hurt, and then he was in the locker room looking at Twitter, and he's like, oh, wow, this dude, Boogie Bentley, he's soft. I've heard, people say he's soft, and he's calling me soft. I'm going to go hit somebody. If Joe would run the ball physical, like we saw it, man. What did he end up with, 35 rushing yards? He had some nice runs in the second half. Yeah. If he would run the football and play physical and not play scared, it would make this offense so much better. That has nothing to do with the way he throws the football or his pre-snap reads or all that in-depth stuff that all you smart people like to talk about that I don't comprehend. Yeah, Show me some effort.
Yeah, and I'll throw this up to you, Coach, but it's like in these third and shorts, 4th and shorts, like, can we do something besides hand it off up the middle? Please, just something to the edge. Throw something to Dylan Sampson. I mean, there's just been so many times that, a 7-year-old knows what's coming. And I'm not saying that we should completely like throw some crazy trick play out there, but like if you're running it 2 times in a row at 3rd and 3, and then again at 4th and 1, and you're getting stuffed up the middle. And again, that's why it goes back to me for those read options. Like, he could add so much to our offense. If we're going to be kind of, confined to the run game, and that's going to be our MO this season, we need that extra caveat. And there's so many times that I'm seeing like wide open green grass on one side or the other, and the end is breaking in on the play, but yet he still hands it off right into the pile.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they don't feel that way. I guess they don't feel like Joe can accomplish that. I mean, it is, to make a long story short, right? Like,
let me throw some devil's advocate.
Yeah, go ahead.
How much of that is just a 100% run? We don't know what's a true run play versus a true read option. Mm-hmm. That's something you do have to remember too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But either way, for whatever reason, Joe, I mean, how many has he really kept?
Right. Well,
he's not willing to keep them on it.
Right. So. And the first play of the UTSA game was a perfect example of what could be. What I mean? That's what I'm seeing or not seeing, rather.
It even showed some of that tonight. He showed some of that in the second half.
When we ran that, Jalen Wright motion option play.
Yeah.
Keeps the ball, makes the right decision. That's when he lowered his head on one of the plays. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's bits and pieces like we've talked about that he looks so fantastic on some of the things he does.
Yeah, it's just,
but there's a play I vividly remember. He gets sacked because he holds the football for too long, but Ramel Keaton is wide open in a cover 2 moment in the slot. He sits behind the corner, the safety's in the middle, and you can see it on the replay, right? He never even sees him and takes a sack. It's just. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Boogie, situational awareness, but the indecisiveness between just the quick decision making, right?
Do you think he's scared to make a mistake?
I think pre-planned things work well. Pre-planned runs, pre-planned QB powers, pre-planned options, those things. But when he has to make a snap judgment decision, he pauses. Mm-hmm. And when you pause in the SEC, you do not. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. When it's under script, it's okay, it seems.
Let me hit some super chats. We got a lot piling up. Appreciate the way you guys are supporting the channel. I hope you like the flow. I try to get some good conversation going with the panel, and then I'll try to get your comments, go back and forth. I know some people get frustrated. Some people say, oh, Boogie only reads money chats. Look, there's 1,100 people watching live. I'm doing the best I can. I want everybody to feel a part of the show. If you feel spited, let me promise you this. If you feel spited because you didn't drop a super chat or you're not a member, I dare you to come hang out on Tuesday night when I'm playing NCAA football and I'm having this same type of conversation with 60 people in the chat. Because I promise you, I will address your comment and we'll have a great time. I do the best I can when we got a big audience, but I am grateful for the way you guys support this channel. Rolly season for 2, Chaz Nimrod looked good. I agree with that. Rocky Top Tom for 5. We won because of our offensive line backs and D. Williams. Ladies and germs, it's Bama week. Clean it up, get it in when you can't fit it in. Buck Bama.
Nice.
Rocky Top Tom's drinking all. He's been drinking pretty much since he left the tailgate show, I'm pretty sure. Papa J for 5, I knew I shouldn't have eaten spicy enchiladas and jalapenos for lunch. Why is that a super chat, John? I love you, bro. Have a safe night after that. Daniel Lowry for 10, hyper philosophy with this running game and pass rush. I miss Hendon, but a great win. Let's go, Big F and Orange. Great home win. Hypo proves he can win in other ways. My voice is gone. LOL. Huge point right there. Hypo is still finding a way to win football games. Corey Smith for 10. One more thing. If I see Joe one more time have a free play and a chance to pick up the first down and not even compete on that play, I'm going to lose it one more time. It's Nico time. Look, I see people in the chat saying you don't replace your quarterback when you're 5-1. I know, and they're not going to. But we can still say we're frustrated as crap with Joe Milton's play. Straight up a Vol for 5 drops a super sticker. Appreciate that, brother. John Goad, watching driving on I-94 coming from Montana to East Tennessee, about to pull over and ran down the shoulder during that first pick. John, be careful, brother. Appreciate the super chat. Charles drops a 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. If I can find the clip, I'll play the clip. Looking for the clip. There's the clip. Here it is.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Charles says, a win is a win, and we'll take it. Everybody on this panel is happy. I promise you that. We're all happy, but we're also Tennessee fans, and we're going to talk about concerns. That's always been the motto of this channel, and that's what we're going to ride with. We are all celebrating tonight. Again, I said at the top of the show, it's a beautiful thing to be 5-1 and have things to bicker and complain about and go get ready to play Alabama next week. Thank you, Charles. That is a very generous super chat, my man. Coach Rice for 5. Unfortunately, I want Nico as much as anyone, but I don't want his first start to be until Connecticut. It won't happen, but that would be the perfect first start. Well, I'll be at that game. Where's Waldo? Come find Boogie. I would love to talk to you. That'd be a great first start for Nico. Why not the one game that I'm going to go to when I have a job to do? Thank you, Coach Rice. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Coach.
I was just going to say, I want his first game to be the game where he comes in and beats Alabama as a freshman, but maybe that's just me.
What about a redshirt freshman? Can he do it? Can he beat him as a redshirt freshman?
He could do that too. No, because won't that game be at home?
Yeah, that's true. Still a win. CM Jam for 5. We should have won by at least 2 touchdowns. Go Big Horns. Appalach Han Adventures for 2. Pretty good to win with only 1 offensive touchdown. That is an amazing thing. Andrew Garland for 2. Tim Banks lifetime contract. Isn't it funny how things change? Everybody was ready to fire that guy, and now he is the savior of this football team. GT Jacket, is that a Georgia Tech fan? GT Jacket becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that support. Everybody's welcome here. If we play Georgia Tech, we'll have some fun talking some trash. Straight up ball for 5. Straight up ball new member. So thankful for our defense and D. Williams, but winning in spite of Milton. Won't win against Bama. Nico time. Can you imagine being 5-1, coming off of a win, and you just bench Joe Milton and start Nico on the road? Not going to happen. Edge Dude for 10. Boogie, you have to get the interview of Bimbo Fisher when reporter asked how to deal with Neil Noyes. He said, "Excuse that." I saw that. Was it coming out of the half? I think.
Yeah.
Or in between quarters, something. And he's like, "Excuse me," like he could not hear anything, man. Yeah, Neeland loud. That's what they were tonight. Cody Copeland for $20. That's an Orange Boy. Let's play the clip just for Cody.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Cody drops a 20 spot. Dorothy plus great team win. Defense, amazing effort and energy. Jalen running the rock mad. Only thing I find upsetting is Joe making freshman mistakes. Not understanding why we don't just have Nico maybe make them instead. We're all, I think more and more people are starting to understand and get on board with this thing. Let me get my Joe Milton dartboard out. DJ for 10, press conference question. So will Nico start next week? That should be the first thing that comes out. Robert Tugg for 2, at least we won We have to see Nico soon. I wouldn't hold my breath. Chad Kirk for 5, D. Williams to the house. Knew it was going to be a tough game. GBO. Chad, we got the win, man. That's what I'm glad to be here celebrating. Michael Davis for 5. Could y'all imagine last year's offense playing together with this year's defense? We'd be unstoppable. Hey, we all knew, right? We all talked about going into this year, offense going to take a step back, defense going to take a step forward. Can you use – man, I was talking to JP this week, just this week. Man, this is something I want to pause and talk about. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. I will come right back to your all super chats in just a second. Taking a step back this year on offense, a step forward on defense. I think the defense is only going to get better next year. You need to probably hit the portal, try to get some interior defensive linemen, but you got a lot of talent on that defense, a lot of young talent, some good young corners. Obviously, you're already playing freshman linebackers offensively. There are a lot of guys on that offensive line, Cooper Mays, Spraggins, John Campbell, that have a COVID year. NIL money talks. Spend it on Cooper Mays. Tell Cooper whatever you want, we will give it to you. Yep. We need you. Guess what, Cooper? You want to be a legend? We got a big-time stud quarterback that's been in the system for basically almost a year and a half at this point coming into play. We have a dominant defense. We have a really good offense. Cooper, John Campbell, Spraggins, let's come back and go win a natty. This team has some potential, Matt, to be special. Next year, some key pieces. We knew that this team was going to struggle at times this year, and we're still 5-1. But next year could be special.
Amen to that. I mean, we talked about it, and you talked about it all off season. Defense take a step. Offense was going to regress. I don't think anybody envisioned this dramatic of a step both ways. Mm-hmm. This defense is special. I mean, from the Pierce coming off the edge, but did anybody see him come and drop back in coverage and cover a back and take him down and run him down? I mean, he is insane. He's a sophomore, a true sophomore. He's back. Yep. I mean, this defense right now gives you vibes of almost that 98 defense, especially after the Clint Sterner step on the ankle tonight, right? I mean, you have dudes coming off the edge, flying. And once we fell out of that zone in the first half, which killed us on 2 long third downs, and we said, okay, we're going to play man on you. Maybe we don't put press man, but we're going to man you up, cover 2, and send the house. Texas A&M couldn't do anything. Nope. I mean, James Pierce has got 3 sacks this year where he knocks a 325-pound tackle into the quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's not a huge dude, but his momentum coming off the edge, and then Tyler Barron coming in, the play, I mean, you had defensive linemen just ripping through tonight, forcing guys upfield with cleanups behind. That defense is special. I know Coach Jay is salivating on this because that's his specialty. But
they're young. They're young.
They are.
The guys making plays are young.
You had T-Lander in there tonight making plays. You had, I mean, the freshmen. You had in the last drive, we had Perry in and a linebacker in coverage and made a play. I think he's a true junior, right? Or is he a redshirt junior, right? I mean, this defense has the potential to be top 2 defensively in the SEC moving forward. Mm-hmm. And if you can take what we looked at next year with the step of Nico coming in, right, and some of the talent coming in from the freshmen, and we obviously are going to have to use the portal with the line and some other positions, but this running back, three-headed monster, is not going anywhere either. That's what's so scary. Yeah. I mean, this team has the potential to be incredible, right? I mean, just incredible come in 24.
And I'll make a quick point, too, and pass it up to you, Coach. But I think with the big step that the defense is taking, this is program changing because it's going to help our longevity. And now after this, going into year 3, year 4, our selling point is not just going to be offense, right? Defense is going to be, and we saw even this last cycle of how many defensive players were recruited and good ones. And so I think long term, this is maybe how we want it, even if the offense is taken a dramatic, like Matt said, like the scales have tipped really polar opposites, right? But I think we'd rather have it this way than still have a less than mediocre defense. I don't know what you think, Coach.
Yeah, I agree. Look, you're going to run into off years from a quarterback standpoint. Look at Bama, right? And what they were dealing with at the beginning of this season. So you're going to have little lulls in your quarterback play. And I don't think the offense is that far away. I think you put a stud quarterback into this offense and you're
Yeah.
right back to work.
Mhm.
I really, I missed the joke. Dang it. But
Wait, no,
I
the
think
joke.
you're.
No.
Don't we have a stud
You're in the-
quarter?
This point,
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a
there you go.
innuendo
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Innuendo.
when we put our stud quarterback in, how about that? I think we're right back to work, and the fact that the defense is coming along so quick and that they're so far ahead of schedule has got to be every Vol fan's dream. They got to be licking their lips at next year, right? At what could be, and I know we're all frustrated with these wide receivers, guys. And listen, they should catch the ball, like period. But just for a second, like, they've got no way to gain rhythm, to get any continuity, to know what the hell is going on from one play to another. Heck, if you think we don't know, they really don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
They're running around in circles trying to figure out which way is sideways and which way is up. With Joe back there, the young defenders they're amazing. There was a play I think where they converted a really long second or third down in the first half where they put Herring in a little bit of conflict. They had him spread way wide out, and they picked up the first down. They tried to do that twice more in that game. Once to Herring, and Herring solved the problem. And then another time to Arian Carter, where they tried to pick Arian Carter, and he put both those wide receivers on their ass, one after another. It was a thing of beauty. All these kids, whether it be T-Lander or Pierce or who, you just can almost pick a name out of a hat with these young guys, and they're showing up and showing out. I think Nimrod's going to be great. I think Caleb Webb's going to be great. I think even guys like Nathan Laycock. So we're going to be loaded. We got to solve that center position and that offensive line moving forward into next year. And the sky's the limit if we can do those two things.
Look at this right here. I knew it was coming. We've not even gone to bed yet. We've not even gone to bed yet,
Lord.
and the narrative has changed. So now we're halfway into the year. We're officially 5-1. We're 6 games into this thing. Tennessee still ain't played anybody. They ain't played nobody. They don't play. They never play anybody until they lose, and then that team sucks, right? Man, it's. I can read the room. I know what's coming before it happens. I'm like freaking Conor McGregor, knockout in the second round. I know what's going to come from the freaking audience. Let me continue to jam some super chats. You guys are being awesome tonight. Wayne Starnes drops his 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. Most of you guys like the clip. Some of you hate the clip. But I got to play the clip because we got a job to do.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I'll tell you what, if somebody drops a $500 super chat, I'll stop playing the clip. I'll stop it right now. $500 super chat, no more Pat McAfee. Until then, we'll keep playing it for Orange Boys. Wayne says, Nico, I know there's been some alumni that played QB that says they've been in behind-the-scenes meeting and Nico isn't ready even though they've only been back 2 times since 2009. Opinions? Okay. Lies? Question mark? Not so much.
I mean, I think anyone who sits there and says that they know what's going on in those practices is full of it. I've said it, including me. My opinion of Nico is based solely on people I know that have been around their tight, that have been around Bryce, and the comparison of the two and when they were both ready and for what. So
I love how every Nico question gets defaulted.
I'm going to ride with the coaches. I'm going to ride with the coaches that I know that have been there, that have put people there. I'm going to roll with that, not some guy who didn't get the job done who used to go to our school.
The thing is, like, I hate the argument, you guys think you know more than Josh Heupel. No.
I don't.
I think Josh Heupel is making the best decision for this football team, what he feels is the best decision, whether that's because of loyalty, whether that's, he's saying, hey, if I bench this dude that elected to stay here when he could have gone to the portal, how does that impact other players on this team? There's so many layers to it. I'm ready to see Nico.
Wayne said that Crompton said that on A to Z a while back ago.
Oh, that's who it was.
And I was about to say the only worst half, a couple worst halves, and I know Crompton redeemed himself a little bit, but I will say this: the game I saw him play at the Rose Bowl in UCLA might be the worst game I've seen any quarterback play ever. Period. Full stop.
Wait, did you watch tonight?
Sorry.
Did you watch tonight? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, I don't want to start like picking between that and JG doing dumb stuff in Alabama, but I feel like that's what we've kind of been reduced to over here, and that's frustrating on a night where we should be just celebrating.
Now we're taking shots at Jonathan Crompton.
That's right, Crompton. We're coming for you. I love his halftime show. Sorry, John. I love you.
I gotta fire another shot, and Boogie will appreciate this. I call this mentality the Harrison Bailey factor. It's like we're always waiting for the next guy. We think the next guy is going to be, the next, freaking Trevor Lawrence, and we never. That doesn't ever hardly pan out. You know what I mean? Unless you're Bryce Young or Trevor Lawrence, something like that. That rarely happens as a freshman, especially these days. I'd love to see that. Now, I will say one thing that I am very confident about, and we've already touched on it at the earlier part of the show, is I don't think we're going to have to worry about this silly decision-making when it comes to Nico. I think he's going to be a little bit more alpha, a little bit more ball out, ready to make those decisions quicker.
Look, Harrison Bailey, and I'm going to get right back to super chats after I say this, but I know that's what the people that are like roll with Joe because of we thought Harrison Bailey was going to be a stud. Harrison Bailey got his 5th star at the final hour, at the very final hour, and that elevated the expectations for him. Nico is a generational talent. I truly believe that, and I'm not just saying that because of Coach Jay. That goes back before Coach Jay was probably even on the channel. Maybe not. Probably in the fan call-ins, but not working with me yet.
Yeah.
Look, I had we are all excited about Nico. He's not just a 5-star. He was the number 1 player in the freaking $8 million. There's some expectations there. All right, let me hit some super chats. Good Lord have mercy, Dustin. Got me talking about Harrison Bailey.
I told you.
Good job, Dustin.
Epic Eric for 2. I'm not feeling good about UT's away chances. They've struggled, man. They've struggled. That's something they got to clean up. Jeff Puckett for 20. Nobody's dropped a 500 yet, so guess what? We got to listen to Pat McAfee. Who was wrong today?
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Jeff Puckett, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you in the chat, brother. Says, I was so mad at Joe. Defense jumped off sides, and he takes no shot. I love that the chat is just going to go we're going to go hard in the paint all night. You guys blame yourselves. Don't blame us. Defense jumped offside. He takes no shot, plus steps out of bounds a yard short on first down. Later, indecision on 4th down. Geez, 2 plays he could have sold out for a first down, and team chose to save himself. And we've already touched on that, Jeff, but it goes back to what I said. What pisses me off even more, it was when he finally hits somebody later, he taunts him. Like, either do it every play. Like, a dude that goes out and plays physical and violent all the time and taunts people, it's like, okay, yeah, that's the way – you're a dude. But when you do it 25% of the time, 12% of the time, you're not a dude. Thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. Scotty drops a 50 spot. That's a pink boy. We'll play this clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
That's your boy, isn't it, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Scotty Hurley, good to see you in the chat, brother. $50 ain't cheap, says this one's for Begley. Won tonight in spite of Joe. Exact words out of Coach Jay's mouth before we went live. It says, we'll struggle to reach our goals if we can't throw. Win is a win, but we lack a quarterback, even just a game manager. We have an elite running back group, but we got to get better. Please just throw Nico in the fire. That's a very generous super chat, but we've been taught. I mean, that's been the conversation for the last 20 minutes. We need better quarterback play. Can Tennessee go on the road and play Alabama and win with that? Let's spend some time on this because it's a 50 spot. Matt, can Tennessee go on the road and beat Alabama with that quarterback play tonight? Do you think they'd beat Alabama?
No. I mean, you play with them. You saw it today. I don't think that Arkansas, plays with Alabama today because of their quarterback play by any means. But can you go and win a game on the road if you have less passing yards and penalty yards? Absolutely not. We're going to play some really good defenses coming up here in the next 4 weeks with some 5-stars sitting on that side of the football that are going to attempt to shut down the run. And if I'm a defense that's playing Tennessee, I am sitting 8 in the box and saying, beat me, Joe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
Beat me. And we saw 4 or 5 times tonight of just 3 in the box. I mean, make him beat you. And if he can't, then no, you can't win. But would it surprise anybody, realistically? We said it before this game, and maybe it does, but would it surprise anybody if he comes out and hits 5 deep shots next week and he throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns?
Not a bit.
No.
Right, and I was going to say the one thing we can't blame Joe for is the holdings and the false starts and the face mask and all the other penalties that really shot us in the foot, because as we know, this offense not just runs on momentum, but only runs on momentum. I don't care if it's an injury or TV timeout. It's like, okay, well, dang it, here we go. We're going to have to come up with something to keep that momentum alive. And so that definitely doesn't help the receivers or the offense. So I can't fully blame him for any of that. But just in general, though, those penalties, like, dadgummit, there's just so many that, like Matt said earlier, one step forward, two steps back sometimes. That to me is, and we talked about playing away games. I think that's how we got on the saga is that to me is scary, because, you know, in the place where the clock is running out and we got to call timeout, we're like Boogie said, we're 5-6 games in now. We can't have that, especially on the road. We saw what that did to us to Florida. It's killer.
Twice tonight.
Game
that's
management.
Just it. And that's what scares me about the Bama game is the road aspect of that for Joe. And yeah, he could step out there and play a good game. I will say this. I might be surprised at this point if he put it together for a full 4 quarters. I don't think we even saw that in the Orange Bowl from Joe for a full 4 quarters. No. So I would be surprised if we saw that. And in my opinion, it's probably going to take 4 full quarters to beat Bama. It's a revenge spot. They knew they were a 20-point favorite against Arkansas today. You know, they know stuff like that. They're not dumb. I guarantee you that crowd will look and sound different in Bryant-Denny than it did at 9 a.m. or noon. Sorry, for everyone out there. Yeah, I'm like an alien to everyone.
Yeah.
Or something.
I love meeting Coach Jay. Friday morning show, great show, man. Had Kaner on for the first time on Friday. Awesome. Really good show. And then, like, we're late in the game, and Coach Jay's like, "Yeah, man, just growing up watching those 12:30 CBS games." I'm like, "Excuse me."
Wait, what
like 12:30? All right, let me jam some more super chats. I wanted to pause on that because it was a 50 spot. Papa J for 5. You guys are too young, but Milton plays like a woman going through menopause. Papa J's been drinking White Lightning too. Plays like a woman going through menopause. Hot, cold, cringy, chills, moody, then makes a great play. Thank you, I guess, Papa John. Papa John. Big Orange Mountain for 5, 54 yards rushing by A&M, 232 by Tennessee. Wow. Hey, national media, I'm waiting for my apology. I can't wait for Locked On Vols. I'm going to go on. I'm just going to praise. I'm going to sing my own number the whole time. Be like, what? Remember everybody doubting me, saying I was an idiot? Guess
just
what, boys? Boogie. How about a shirt that says Boogie was right? How about that? That's what I'm going to wear this week. Look, if I'm right 1 out of 10 times, I'm going to celebrate that one time. Me, Ugly for 5. Okay, but let's just say Joe could have thrown it directly to AM on the free and play. We would have liked it better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like NCAA night. They jump off sides, you throw it deep. Who cares if it's a pick? It does not matter. Solid foundations for 5. Not sure how Joe practices, but he is not a gamer. What does Hype know that we don't? Why not Nico? That was the same conversation with Hendon Hooker, right? Hendon Hooker is a gamer. Joe is a practice guy. Red win for 2. I told you, Boogie. Milton can truck linebackers. If he would do it every time, love me some Joe Milton. I still love me some Joe Milton. I hope next week he figures it out for the back half of his final season. Trey for 2. So fun seeing the A&M quarterback rattled most of the night. I felt like he was trying to save his defensive line's stats. He's like, I can't get sacked. I can't let Tennessee pass us by. Chandler drops a 20 spot. That's an Orange Boy. I'll play the clip that makes 3 people in the chat mad, but we'll play it anyway if I can find it. Scrolling for it. There it is.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
Chandler for $20. Former ball is back, baby. At least now we know Heupel doesn't scheme people open. They were actually great players. GBO. I disagree with that. I mean, no, I think it's 50-50. Heupel does scheme players open, but maybe you're right, Chandler, that Jalen Hyatt was maybe a little bit better than we thought, right? We thought we were going to plug and play Squirrel White. Coach, I can tell you're dying to speak.
You've got to hit the open wide receivers. That's the whole thing.
Or see them.
You can't see them. It helps so much if you see the wide open wide receiver running there and you don't hold the ball for 30 seconds and then throw it 5 yards behind or 10 yards over their head. But start thinking about, like, even the great Squirrel White throws or catches, right? There was the one in the South Carolina game. Underthrow, bad throws. Squirrel made them look good.
In the Orange Bowl, underthrows.
In the Orange Bowl, yeah, even the layout that Squirrel had to make to catch the ball. He's had a couple perfect throws, but they've been few and far in between, and usually he's just holding the ball and not identifying when the guys are open. Yeah, windows are small, and faster players like Hyatt can make those windows look bigger, but when you're slow and you're not catching people without their cleats in the grass, as we like to say on this channel,
play that clip.
then they're not going to look as open. So I just don't think he's finding the open wide receivers.
Let me hit another 20 spot from Jim. That's orange. We'll do it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Jim says he was supposed to go to the game. Supposed to go to the Jack Daniels Barbecue Fest. That sounds amazing. That sounds.
Yeah, it does sound.
I mean,
good.
I like a good Tennessee win, but I like me some barbecue and some Jack Daniels too. Had to stay home, watch the game, and yes, it's time for Nico GBO. Man, there is a common theme in the chat tonight. Chris for 2, why is D not on offense? He came out warmed up with the wide receivers tonight, for what it's worth. But you got to realize he's a defensive back making that move to offense. It's going to take time to figure it out. Scotty Hurley for 5 more for Boogie. How come Matt got 50? Well, he said Matt, or did he say Begley?
Said Begley, yeah.
Oh, dang
Begley.
it. I was going to say we're both Matts, but well.
There you go.
I'll be a Begley for the night. 5 for Boogie. We'll have to join y'all on screen soon. Love this all-star cast. Defense played their tails off. Pierce is an all-SEC player. Scotty, come hang out with us on tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, fan call-in show. Love it, man. Come hang out with us. Coach Rice for 5. Y'all, James Pierce, Tyler Barron, Omari Thomas, straight dogs, defenses. Fear that rabbit package like crazy. Love the secondary playing tighter. How about the fact that you were missing one of your best interior defensive linemen in Omar Norman Lott, and this defensive line still went out and dominated. Joey drops a 20 spot. That's an orange boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Joey says the expectation of standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite. Coach Josh Heupel press conference. I love it. If that's a quote, I love it. But, go back to last year. He said that. The goal is to play elite defense. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Joey. Appreciate the $20, brother. Timmy G drops a 50 spot. That ain't cheap. We'll play this clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Timmy G says D. Williams is special. He's electric. Like he is. It's like Cordero Patterson. It's like Evan Berry on kickoff returns. He can score. How many times should he have housed one and it got called back?
To get you down inside the one.
Yeah,
both ways on that. Secured it inside the one, then return it to the house. I mean, he's a game changer. He's an absolute game changer. And if you look at the one he ran back and he got hit. If that dude doesn't clip his leg, he's gone there too. The seam was open.
Yeah.
Saw it. He just got clipped in the thigh by a forearm.
You think he makes an impact on offense eventually before his career's over?
I'd like to hope so. But I'm not on that side of the fence just yet. I like where he's at. You want to keep the guy happy and keep him playing as much as possible. But, like I said at the top of the show, defense and special teams and the run game was my 3 big go-tos. And then back to what we're talking about, Heupel not scheming people open. I think we're seeing that less and less because the play calling has gotten a little bit more conservative in general. I don't know that it's a lack of ability. It might have something to do with the separation sometimes, but in general, I think there's still plays to be made out there.
Yeah. I mean, Hendon did such a good job too last year. If you go back and watch some of those games, he does such a good job of looking off the receiver and then coming back, right? I mean, the deception of the eyes as a quarterback as they're taught to do so. Joe doesn't do that. I mean, that's not something he can do. And when he does, he's late, and I think those are the scheme type things where he stares the safety Hendon, stares the safety off and then clears, Jalen to go for 5 against Bama last year because that other safety can't keep up. I mean, I don't think it's anything to do with the scheme. I think 100% it has to do with the trust.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, there is a distrust in the offense's ability to move the ball through the air.
Yeah, and it seems like he never. Sorry,
they forced it so many times where they just tried to throw the ball on second down and couldn't do it got yourself into 3rd and long, and I mean, we saw it down on the first half, not taking three separate times, missing a field goal because there's a super distrust in the offense's ability. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how we're not going to do it. Nico's not coming in because Jay, I'm sure you've seen teams, you've coached teams, you've been on teams where the offense and the defense can't trust the offense.
Yep.
Right. There's definitely a difference in the scheme because of that. And I think that's what we're seeing. It's not, there's never we never, hardly ever, when have we seen it where we dropped the back out and went 5 wide or 4 wide for Joe to throw? If that's happening, he's running the football. I mean, it's just not happening. And that's what made Hendon so darn special is that they put the ball in his hands, right, and said, here you go win a ball game. And Joe is don't lose the ball game.
Let me play devil's advocate and then throw this to Coach, and then I'm going to read this comment from somebody that has been attacking us for the last 45 minutes. Brody says, if Joe lights up Bama, y'all will say he didn't do enough. LOL. I hope he doesn't have a cell phone or see any of this. If Joe Milton is watching this show right now, we got gigantic problems at the University of Tennessee. Huge problems. If he's tuning in to see what the 4 of us clowns sitting in our offices or our living rooms or wherever we're sitting, we got gigantic problems if Joe Milton's worried about what we have to say. And now you want him to shoot us the bird on it. You don't think, Brody, you don't think the 4 of us are pulling for Joe Milton? You don't think we want him to succeed? Now, Brody, I want you to go look yourself in the mirror, and you tell me if going 11 of 22 for 100 yards, you averaged 4.5 yards per attempt, you threw a touchdown and an interception, and that's SEC caliber quarterback play. That's what you think's acceptable. Yeah. You go look yourself in the mirror and you tell me that that's good quarterback play. That's my question to you. You want to come at us. You want to question our opinions. I would love to hear you defend that Joe Milton played elite, decent, average, mediocre SEC quarterback play, because he didn't tonight. I love Joe. I support Joe as much as anybody. But let me play devil's advocate here, Coach. I don't even know if I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird twist here. You don't have trust in Joe. The play calling shows that. What's going on at practice? How can we validate that Nico didn't get an opportunity? Is it the win-loss record? Is it because you're 5-1 and you've got a 6-year senior? What is it that Joe is doing that says, hey, this is the guy? Make up a fake story and make me understand. And I know that you're on the opposite side of this, but what I'm saying, something is going on that's giving Joe opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Is it just wins?
I think it's probably like a lot of things. It's a combination of many things, right? We always talk about how 2 things can be true. I think it's probably a lot of it is that. I think Joe, it's been well documented, right? You talked about it earlier. He's all practice team, right? He looks great in practices, I'm sure, week in and week out when there's that live bullets and those fresh games playing. He's also the one getting the runs with the ones, obviously. And gosh dang it, like, who hasn't been rooting for Joe? How can you not love rooting for Joe? That's the only thing that hurts me a little about that last comment too. Like, even before the season, yeah, I'm a Nico guy, blah, 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 blah. There's connections there, but dang it, I want Joe to succeed. Like, I was in there, even when I was picking him apart a little bit in the chat, for those of you who were in there with me, every other few sentences I would say it, Joe, shut me up. Take your foot and put it in my dang mouth. Shut me up. I'm rooting for you. I want you to. I want to cheer. I was screaming down the hall when we got that stop on the defense. I love this university, and if he goes out and does enough next week, that's great. I'm going to flip out, and I'll love that next week, but I'll still be concerned, as most people would be, for the next week and for Georgia after that. Because
keep going, Coach, but let me read this because it fits in where you're going. Dalton B. says, I like Joe, but I can't defend him anymore. And I feel like that's where we're all at. We all love Joe, but you can't defend. A turd is a turd, right, Coach? You said it. You said it weeks ago. Everybody's a turd. He says, hadn't playing lights out, though he's covering so well, especially in man. But I just wanted to put that in there. Everybody, I think, likes that you just can't defend him anymore.
Haddon's a great example, right? We were all talking smack. Shut us up, didn't he? He just turned around and slapped us a good one, right? And Yeah, and he's been great. And heck, man, hats off to Haddon. Still mad at him about that tackle, but dang it, I love him like every other player on this team. As far as to what's going on, it just all boils down to that. When you have a coach that's done what Heupel's done, and he's shown that he can win in multiple different ways, that he can scheme people open, he can bring an elite defense in, he can recruit, he can do everything under the sun. I'm going to defer to that every time. I'm going to defer to that over any relationship I've had with a player, over any relationship I've had with another coach. He's earned the right for me to sit here and go, you know what, for whatever reason, I don't like it. I think you're wrong. But dang it, I got your back, Hype, because I'm going to have to believe in your opinion over mine, even though it's a differing opinion. So I wish I could pinpoint it. It's driving me mad personally, but I can't pinpoint it. But then, also when they have the backup linemen in, when Mays was in early in the season in practice, were they able to block? Were they able to block this defensive line? Does anyone think
I cannot
that
imagine.
seriously they were able to block this defensive line in practice and protect a young quarterback? And watching that as a coach, who are you going to put in? The giant 6'5" dude who's probably not going to get injured, or the young freshman dude in that situation? And I think we gotta ask ourselves that question honestly as well. These coaches are looking at them every day in practice, and I've got a sneaking suspicion this defensive line's kicking the crap out of our offensive line, just like they're kicking the crap out of everyone else. And that's probably why they're keeping our quarterback pretty clean too, and probably why they look like they've played pretty decent for the most part, is they're getting a good look in practice, I would think.
Yeah, every day.
I'm gonna hit this one last comment from Brody. I'm gonna give him one little spotlight, one last spotlight. It says, what if Nico don't pan out? See, here's the difference, Brody. You're speculating. You're playing with ifs, ands, and buts. We're speaking of facts. We're talking about what we've seen. We've seen it. We've seen Joe play week in and week out. You're talking about what ifs and fantasies and story tales. So go read your nighttime story, sweetheart, and go sleep it off, and then let's come talk facts with the big boys tomorrow. Be here tomorrow for the day after video.
And I will always say it. I'll keep saying it. I said it with Joe early when I was defending him, when people were coming at him early for the Austin P game and stuff like that. And I'll say the same thing to Nico, even though I deeply in my heart want him. I'm like straight rooting for the kid on a very personal level. I'll say the same thing. He will be judged by me and the Tennessee fan base and the world, for that matter, by his play on an SEC field week in and week out, not 1 week, not one quarter, but his play week in and week out. And that's what I'm judging Joe on now. I will judge Nico on the same thing. Jake Merklinger, Jared Gorentano, Bryce, whatever quarterback you want to call it, you can put Santa Claus out there. I'm going to judge him based on his play on that SEC field.
I got annihilated for supporting Joe. And now people, when I question Joe, get mad at me. Look, I'm going to call a spade a spade. Always have, always will. Let me hit a couple more super chats here. Robert McGee drops a 50 spot. That's Pink Boy. I'll play this clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Y'all are showing love tonight. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. Robert for $50 says, wish I could be on tonight. Boys, go Big Orange. The special teams coach in me is happy. Here's the thing, Robert. You got to change your name to Coach McGee, because we've already got Coach Jay. We talked Coach Rice into it. Matt, do you coach?
Baseball, yeah.
Okay, well, you can't change your name. You can't change your name. Like you just can't. Like, I'll call you Coach Begley, but you can't be Coach Begley. Coach McGee, you got to change your name to Coach McGee. Come in and represent special teams. Coach loves when all you coaches come together. Vol Behind Enemy Hedges drops a $5 super chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that. Jimmy Guapo for $5. Joe looked bad, but no way you can start Nico in Tuscaloosa. That being said, hopefully Joe doesn't give the store away. Love the show, Boog. GBO. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that. Glad you enjoy what we're doing around here. All Behind Enemy Hedges. I wonder if he screwed up and accidentally didn't say anything. Drops another $5. Between Milton decision-making and the wideouts not making plays for him, I need a new blood pressure medicine. Look at mine and Matt's faces. That tells you all you need to know. We need some blood pressure medicine, too. Scotty Hurley drops 2. We only need a game manager at quarterback. We need better. You know, I saw Kaner getting roasted on Twitter because he's called Joe the best-looking game manager in the country, and somebody's like, he's not even a game manager. Like, he's below a game manager. Corey Smith for 2. Hope Joe proves me wrong. I'm a fan of that guy. We all are. Corey, I think you're speaking for all of us. Cody drops a $5 super chat. Pierce is so fast off the edge, but crazy how strong he is for his size, straight up throwing offensive linemen at quarterbacks. Dude, he sacked it. Well, almost sacked. He threw it away. Like, he did this. Slapped him in the back of the shoulder. Max just crumbles. Timothy McGee for 5. Can't blame a quarterback when wide receivers are dropping the ball left and right. I agree with that. Got to be better on both sides, 100%. Negaball for 2. Recommend me a good victory cigar, anyone. I'm not a cigar guy. I got some Bubby Stogies, overpaid. I go to the tobacco store and buy the cheap ones just for the golf course. Does anybody here smoke cigars?
Just for next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend you'll have one.
Yeah.
Good call.
I got caught slipping last year. I will admit I had to sprint my happy ass down to the cigar shop across the street, which luckily was close by.
Yeah, see, I'm sitting here waiting to go live, and I'm like, where's Dauber? Where's Dauber? Where's Dauber? Where's Dauber? And then he posts pictures on social media just smoking cigars. I'm like, cool, bro. I'm glad you were celebrating having fun while I was waiting on you so I could go to work. Oh, gosh. Maybe I'll just fire one up in my office, and my wife would she would kick the door down Stone Cold style. Y'all would finally see Mrs. Boogie because she would bust in the door and, like, give me a stunner, and I would sell like Vince McMahon. Y'all be like, holy smokes, that was not a good decision. Sammy P for 5, we won only because of the defense in the run game. Don't disagree with that. Dylan for 5, does D have another year? A whole offseason in the wide receiver room would be huge. What is he, a junior? He's definitely got at least another year left.
Yeah. At least.
Shannon DeCannon for 20. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play this clip, even though some people don't like the clips. But if you want me to stop playing clips, drop a $5 super chat. We'll stop playing it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shannon says, I wish Joe's mama would tell Coach H to put his butt on the bench until he figures it out. GBO in this game ruined a perfectly achieved buzz. Dude, I've never been more mad during a win, I think, than tonight. And I kind of looked at myself and was like, we're 5-1, and I'm pissed, and I love it. It's so good. Coach, I think you said it earlier, maybe during the fan call-in, that it's great to care again. Like, it's fun to watch football and actually care. We're 5-1, and we're pissed. That's what Tennessee football is all about. UT Vols fan for life becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that. You guys want to do it, hit the join button down below. You might find yourself on a post-game show. You never know. Jordan Boyd for 2 said D should be the sweep screen wide receiver. A lot of people have talked about this, and we've addressed it. The problem with that is you bring him in for a little trick play or a gimmick or whatever. He's got to stay in because you're going with tempo. So he's got to be in for the whole drive. I think that's going to set him back. Thank you, Jordan, for the super chat. Dalton for 10. I'm out for tonight. Boogie, hope you sleep well tonight, and the family is healthy. Thank you, Dalton. That's very generous. Going to sleep. I promise you, I'm going to sleep well tonight. I'm going to wake up, sleep it off, get up, and we're going to do the day after video bright and early tomorrow morning, and then we're going to do a fan call-in show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I can't wait to get you guys on here and listen to you criticize Joe, and then maybe I'll say, well, what about Harrison Bailey? Nicholas for $2. We are one good quarterback away from being a dominant team. I had that thought today, too. Coach McGee for $20, dropping another 20 spot. Coach, what are you? Oh, he changed it. He changed the name. Coach McGee. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Throw this one in just for Coach.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
It is definitely better. Definitely better. Coach McGee, I love it. It's definitely better. Appreciate you and the way you support this channel. Noah Cockrell for 5. What would be the limit to bench Joe at this point of the season? What would be that metaphorical line be after this game? I think you got to lose to Alabama and Kentucky and maybe even one more, I think, to bench him.
Yeah, and it's got to look like tonight too. It's got to be, you know,
ugly,
blatantly obvious. Yeah, and going back to the points earlier, you know, there's no doubt that all 4 of us and most Tennessee fans want to see Joe succeed. How optimistic were we in the offseason after Clemson game? Like, oh, he's turned the corner. He's finally put some touch on the ball. And then, you know, just this year, you know, for whatever reason, I think the biggest word, the key word here is consistency, you know, in a 4-quarter game. That's what we have not seen at all. And then on top of that, that's one thing if you're a little inconsistent, but it's another thing if you're inconsistent on bad decisions. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. Inconsistency and accuracy. I mean, even just in his slants, right, where it's a pop up and throw, he's behind. I mean, the ball's behind the receivers. And they showed, at least they showed it in before the season. He wasn't doing that in fall camp. You got to see those routes on air. But we've had many just short routes that he's not connecting on. Mm-hmm. I was the biggest Joe hype train recruiter in my office, wearing orange and showing 90-yard clips of oranges, and I still want the dude to succeed. I think what he did is super, super special in today's era of college football. There's not many guys that sit through, being benched and stay for that year, and much less stay for another year to come back and represent his university, right? But it's just not working, and it's not shown itself to work yet. And we've seen it through 6 games, and there's not a moment in the season that you can say that's the Joe we saw at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll say this and pass it back to you, or to Coach. You can take over. It seems like if that first or second read is not there, he's in the weeds. There's a whole other side of the field that he's not seeing, and it just seems like that's all we're getting. We're not getting, the full calls, on both. We're not getting the full scheme, because if that first or second look is not there, then it's like, well, I got to make a split decision, and we've already said that he's not great at that.
Yeah, no, his third and fourth reads are slow or non-existent, and I feel like if that initial comeback route isn't there when he has to break the pocket, like that I think we saw it from Squirrel once in the Virginia game. We saw it from Thornton, dropped a couple of them where he was coming back. If that first comeback route's not there, he's not going to hit, he's not going to hit your center flag, or, what I mean, your curl to post under, and none of your hot reads after. He's not seeing any of those or hitting any of those. And it sucks when you see, a quarterback across from you today who kind of was doing those things, even when he was in duress and throwing the ball up in the air. Hell, he was throwing it to the right read at least. Yeah. But great to see a lot of grass on his jersey after asking to see a lot of grass on his jersey. That was for sure.
Let me hit a few more super chats. We're almost caught up. Jason's been a member for 12 months. Appreciate that year of support, my man. You guys can hit the join button down below and become members of the channel. Kevin Bear for 5. Just decided to accept that this offense is not last year's offense. We are minus 2 NFL wide receivers, an NFL tight end, an NFL quarterback, and a brilliant offensive coordinator. I see a lot of people bringing up Golish. I don't think that's the problem. I think the play calling is coming from lack of confidence. I'll die on that hill. I'll die on it. If I'm right or wrong or indifferent, I'll die on it. Nicholas for 2. Y'all talk about officiating yet? I was late. Yeah, it was bad. I really don't spend a whole lot of time talking officiating on this channel, just because I always hate blaming officiating for the way a game goes. But it was bad tonight. Pan-seared ribeye for 5. Why can't we play 2 quarterbacks, rotate series? Even Gaston would be a better game manager. He's been in Heupel's system for years. I wonder if it goes back to, Matt was just talking about the fact that Joe came back, and Coach Jay mentioned loyalty earlier. I wonder if it is a loyalty thing. I really wonder if that's what the problem is. Wayne's been a member for 26 months. Wayne's one of those guys too. I don't think he turns the lights on. I think he sleeps like in between the Mortal Kombat machine and the NBA Jam machine. He's got a little cot set up back there. I love Wayne. He's basically family at this point. Timothy McGee for 5. Is it player fault or is it coaching that he doesn't understand touch or how to lead a wide receiver? To play devil's advocate here, he puts perfect touch on it to Ramel Keaton for a touchdown, and Keaton drops it. It's so frustrating across the board. Jordan Boyd for 2. The middle of the field is non-existent for Joe. That's where I thought he succeeded. In the Orange Bowl, I thought he was great across the middle. I thought that's where he really, really succeeded. Marcus dropped a pink boy. That's a $50 super chat. We'll play this clip just for Marcus.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Marcus says, late to the live stream, but glad our Vols gave me a win on my birthday. Hashtag
Happy birthday.
Happy
Cardiac
birthday.
Kids. They are, Marcus.
Yep.
They took some years off my life
Mm-hmm.
tonight. But happy birthday, buddy. It's always good to see you in the chat. Look, we're an hour and a half into this thing, and I feel like it's been a whole lot of negativity. I feel like we've been very negative. We opened positive, and then, look, we fed off the chat. We're voicing your opinions. Sammy P's been a member for 25 months. Anybody want to know what that 8 means? I know exactly what it means. If you don't know what it means, you can probably figure it
Kobe.
out. You can probably, yeah, I think it's for Kobe. It's for Kobe. It's not definitely not for Nico. Happy birthday, Marcus. Dustin, let's finish this thing up on the positive. Let's kind of go back, cycle back around. Let's talk a little positive before we get out the door. What gives you optimism moving forward? We're 5-1, halfway in. We got Alabama on the road, Kentucky on the road. Then we're going to jump into the what do we got? Missouri, we got Connecticut. We got a lot of winnable games. Got Georgia coming to Neyland as well. But what did you see tonight that maybe gives you some optimism moving forward?
Well, even though I was anxious and those, thoughts of, oh God, what if this happens, were a little bit less. I definitely was anxious, but I wasn't totally convinced that it was going to, go completely sideways on us. I felt a little more stable and have felt that pretty regularly in the Josh Heupel era so far. And I think just this team is still growing. This team is still getting better. A lot of teams in the league are getting better as the season goes on, and I think we are too. And the fact that we do have a solid running game and defensive line, that is a lot to win a lot of games. And then if special teams can have a splash or two like they had tonight, it's huge. I mean, what's his face? Ross, he's completely changed his game around for the first couple of weeks. So bless his heart. And so speaking of that, somebody, I guess we're all the same age, and I brought this up to somebody else, and I meant to say bless your heart to Joe earlier. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that that's a derogatory term these days? For some reason, it's become that. But I remember, Mama and Papa used to say that, oh, so-and-so's house burned down, bless their heart. So-and-so got in a car wreck, bless their heart. But now it's like, you can use it both ways, I suppose.
You're throwing shade. I think most people see it as throwing shade.
Yeah. See, the old school in me is like, a very enduring Southern thing.
Yeah.
But that's my takeaways. Like, I started the show with the same three, and I'm sticking with that. That's my three positives: special teams, defense, and run game.
Matt, give us some positivity, buddy, out the door. How you feeling about the back half of the schedule?
You just put up 232 rushing yards on the best darn rushing defense in the SEC. Is what makes me happy. And you have the three best running backs in the whole entire SEC, right? I mean, you combine that with a dominant at times, but a much improved and keep on improving defense that you keep yourselves in every game that you play, right? And I think that's the biggest thing for this team is that no matter where we go, whether it's on the road, whether it's at home, if it's Bama, if it's Georgia, if it's Kentucky, Missouri, whatever, if you run for 240 yards a game and you play the way the defense they played tonight, you're going to find yourselves with chances to win the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to think that Joe plays any worse.
Yeah.
So if there's slight improvement week over week over week, then the hope that you're going to go and upset, because it will be an upset, Bama on the road, or you upset Georgia at home, is there. The belief is there because you know that you have two of the staples that, win games, right? And Coach J being the defensive coach, defense wins championships, and we all know that no matter what sport it is, but especially in football, when you play defense and can keep your offense on the field and can keep that offense off the field, there's always a shot. And he does throw the ball 90 yards in the air, so we're never out of it.
That's the thing for me, right? Outside of Alabama and Georgia, look at what you did today. Joe did basically nothing for this offense today. Nothing. And you still found a way to win against a pretty dang good SEC. Like, everybody's calling it the best defense in the country. It's pissing me off because it's slapping Tennessee in the face. And you went out and you played horrendously in the pass game. You played really good in the run game, and you played good defense, and you got a W. I think you can beat everybody left on the schedule. I think you're going to have some tough times against Alabama and Georgia. But if you finish this season 9-3, that's a win for me. Let's go hit the portal. Let's try to work some NIL deals for offensive linemen that have a COVID year left, and let's go take care of business in 2024. Little Spooky drops a $2 super chat very late. Dorothy, appreciate that, brother. Adam Cook drops a 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. I will scroll up and look for the clip, and when I find it, I'll play it. I found it, so I'll play it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Adam says, I love a good running game. I love defense. I love special teams. Why is everyone so upset? To me, this game was beautiful. It took about 7 years off my life. A win is always beautiful, Adam. So I'm going to go to sleep happy. Going to sleep happy. Coach, give me some final thoughts. How you feeling about the rest of the way based on tonight? And look, we're halfway through this thing.
I'm excited about the defense. So I'll just keep harping on that. We got something we can hang our hat on. Matt nailed it. That defense can win a championship for them. The fact that they're so young, if Nico can step in and be what everyone thinks he can be next year, it can be amazing. You asked earlier, I've been on teams where you can't trust your offense. Heck, I've even been part of a team, unfortunately, where you couldn't trust the defense. They're
they
both
had
awful.
linebacker play.
Yeah, they probably did. But no, they did. The thing is I've also been on teams where both are elite. Like both, you could just absolutely hang your hat on either side of the ball if one didn't show up for whatever reason, because whatever, it was just an off week or that one bad, you could rest assured the other one was going to pick them up because they were studs and absolute beasts. And yeah, that team won a championship, no problem. And you can see those strings starting to weave together a little bit for Heupel. I'm telling you guys, there's pieces there. If they keep recruiting how they are, they absolutely can put it together. I am really excited about that. Boogie said it. I think all of us feel uneasy and upset and irritated. And with that all said, we're 5-1, and that is an awesome, awesome thing that we are struggling so much. And we're 5-1, man. We got everything in front of us. If Joe can step out of himself for a second and play a good game, if he can, what was the guys talking smack earlier? If he can step up and shut Coach Jay up, if he's on his phone later watching the Talkin VAWLS network and he goes, this Coach Jay, this little punk ass fool thinks he's cool with Boogie and Eric Kane. I'm going to shut this little crap Southern California Biden loving hippie up. I'm not. But if he's sitting there,
Joe Biden twice in the last week.
Sorry, I'll shut up. But if he can shut me up and play well, and we can keep building, man, we can step. Maybe we could step up. Maybe this defense can do something special and silence a struggling Georgia team as well. And then who knows? Maybe the sky's the limit. But this team has an Achilles heel, and we all know the name of it. So that's what scares me. And with that said, I know I included something scary, but those are my positives anyhow.
Yeah, and I'll
go ahead.
Sorry, Luke. I'll say this real quick and pass it back to you. But I think we all saw opportunities where we could have won this game by 2 touchdowns and maybe a field goal. So that's the negative. But the positive is that in spite of all that, the team kept fighting, put the defense on our back, put the run game on our back, and you can win a lot of games that way. Sorry, Boogie.
No, I was going to laugh at Coach Jay and say, last week he insulted Joe Biden, and this week he's a hippie loving Joe Biden. So it's a beautiful thing. People don't know. He's muted now. He's like Joe Biden.
I said it's worse. He's a centralist, probably. He's a dang lukewarm Californian.
Oh, maybe you did.
$9 for gas.
Maybe you did make it worse for yourself because you're in the middle. You're a fence rider. You're a fence rider.
you
Look,
go,
here's
there
the
you
thing,
go.
man. We're always going to come on and speak the truth. We're all four of us. I have no doubt. All four of us are happy, excited. We spent a lot of time at the beginning of the show. That's what we always try to do, being positive. But we're also going to talk about the things that concern us. That's what we do as fans. That's what you guys are all doing with your buddies. Whether you're texting, you're sitting in your living room drinking beer, you're out back on the deck drinking beer, you are having the same conversations that we're having, and that's what we're here to do. That's the whole point of the Talkin VAWLS Network. I'll hit a couple of super chats on the way out the door. Orange Sea Line for 5. I was among the A&M faithful, and man, it felt good to see the look I have had so often on their faces. GBFO. You know, Texas A&M is a great fan base, though. I saw a lot of people talking about them. Very friendly. They love to come to Neyland. When Tennessee went to Texas A&M, they were very generous. So they're a good fan base. White Lightning, what's up, Bob? For 2, Vol Nation played a big role in tonight's win. We knew it going in. Dave Morrison's been a member for 4 months. Appreciate the support, Dave. We're going to get out the door, man. Here's what's coming up. We're going to go to sleep. We're going to rest. We're going to get the emotions out of it. I'm going to make the day after video coming early tomorrow morning. Make sure you tune in for that. And then also tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, fan call-in show. You guys get to come on and voice your opinions. If you didn't like anything that the four of us said, guess what? We can talk it out face-to-face. We can disagree. We can argue. That's the beautiful thing about this channel. And then also Monday morning, live stream with Eric Kane. Tuesday night, NCAA stream. If you were in the chat tonight, you're like, man, all he does is read the super chats. Come hang out on Tuesday night. I will read every freaking chat. I promise you, it is a good time. We had 1,000 people watching tonight. We'll have 60 watching on Tuesday night, but it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love the NCAA streams. Wednesday night show at 7. Friday morning show, me and Coach Jay. Maybe I can jump on the old horn and get Ben McKee in the house since it's Bama week. We're going to hit this one last super chat that's starting to bleed in here. Mac McClanahan for 2. Go Big Orange defense. Appreciate that, Mac. We're going to wrap it up, man. This was a fun one. I appreciate Matt and Dustin being willing to jump on. I love this community aspect. I love that you guys want to be a part of it. I love that you are active in the fan call-ins, and you guys are great. Like, look, I don't just send out the post-game show to anybody. So I love you guys coming on. Matt, appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Dustin,
Bless your heart, Boogie. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dustin, I didn't
Awesome
even cuss
having you
anybody
guys.
tonight. I didn't
I know,
yell.
right?
Yeah. See, this is a normal post-game show.
Yeah.
I said it in the pregame. Last question: does Joe's touchdown pass count as a pass on the run? First time ever in his career. I think it was like
Warren?
3 steps to Warren on a rollout, kind of maybe.
We'll give it to him. We'll give it to him, Maddie.
count.
Trust
Yeah.
me, we'll give it to
There
him.
we go.
We're
Have
good.
to watch
One
the,
last-
have to watch the replay.
One last dart at
Yeah.
the old Joe
There you
Milton
go.
dartboard.
That's a positive one, though.
All right, we're out the door. Coach Jay's the man. He's my wingman. He's always on here working every freaking month of the year, whether it's a freaking March recruiting video or we're on here doing post-game shows. Also for Matt, for Captain D, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call